For fabricating a customized Wolceram implant abutment, you'll need the model with the implant analog, second implant analog, original abutment, its long screw and a screwdriver. The standard abutment must first be prepared. An anti-rotational platform can be created on conical abutments. Anti-rotational grooves will be suitable for all abutment forms. The standard abutment is then placed into the implant analog in the model and fixed with a central screw. The model as well as the abutment with the screw are coated with a thin film of gypsum wax isolation. The wax modulation of the abutment will be performed in the usual way. The undergum part must be thoroughly filled in. Since it is recognized that soft tissue adaptation is a result of tonus of the gingival tissues and close approximation, the abutment's undergum contour is formed to reproduce the original tooth root, thus pushing the gingiva to the sides. No free space for virtual washing, irrigation and other hygiene variants, no straight emergence from the implant body. By such modulation mode, the gum stays at the original level twice as long compared to the cases where traditional straight modulation has been made. When you have finished with the outside form, take off the wax abutment from the model and refine its undergum part. It must be carefully worked out, as directly at this stage the right emergency profile is formed. The position of the standard abutment in the implant holder must be precisely lined up in the center unit, as by scanning any deviation of the wax modulation from its internal vertical axis during rotation will result in wrong scanning values. By all kinds of angled abutments, not the straight screw and thus not the central implant axis, but the abutment itself must be lined up, as the abutment central axis serves as a reference for the laser. First, the Wolceram implant holder is filled in with thermoplastic granules and placed into the wall temp unit. When the mass is heated enough, lower the temperature. For centering, the wax modulation is put back onto the standard abutment and fixed in the implant analog, already squeezed in the implant holder. By adjusting in the center unit, the position must be achieved where the central axis of the wax abutment doesn't deviate by rotation of the holder. Consequently, it won't deviate by rotation during laser scanning. Here, the thermoplastic mask has already cooled down, set, and thus fixed the analog with the abutment in the centered position. The implant holder can now be taken out of the center unit. Before scanning, the tube's canal is to be closed up with wax. For precise scanning accuracy, spray the modulation with Wolceram or Vita spray, which contains pure titanium dioxide. The implant holder is put onto the spindle. Insofar as 3 different positions of insertion are possible, mark the facial side of the holder. Later, for electro-lowering, you'll have to insert the holder in the same position in which the wax abutment has been scanned. With Alt-O, go into Options, choose the program Construction of Implant and click Enter. With Alt-P, select Processing, Complete Course of Processing, Enter. The implant holder goes to the laser and stops just when the top is reached. You then have to lower this position manually, approximately up to the end of the wax modulation, or better a bit more, using build keys on the keyboard. After you confirm with Enter, the machine starts scanning from the set position. The whole process takes about 11 minutes, depending on the modulation size and form. After the scanning has finished, the result appears for a few seconds on the screen. The machine takes the holder to the electrolyte container and stops just above it, waiting for your confirmation to continue. Take off the holder from the spindle. The wax modulation can now be put off. Using Wolceram spacer, isolate the abutment as well as its screw and implant analog carefully with a brush. The thickness of the spacer lower applied with a wax pen is generally determined by the doctor's wish to get a customized abutment with a strong or a soft fit. In any case, a lowering must be a little thicker on the screw. That will make later screwing in and out easier. The implant holder must also be isolated. Apply a thin lower onto the abutment itself and thoroughly coat the groove edges. Close the abutment screw. And at last, powder the whole construction, which is then ready for the rest processing stages in the machine. Before milling, go to Options, choose Milling of Covering and click Enter to control the thickness of the milling stage. The corresponding option is preset to 0.10 mm, meaning that the burr will be 0.10 mm away from the metal. For the first time, change it to 0.20 to be sure the burr won't get in contact with metal during milling. Place the holder into the machine in the pre-marked position and click Enter. The machine, which was waiting only for this confirmation, continues executing the program. It first dives the abutment into electrolyte, then dries it and takes to the slip container. Depending on the abutment size, the power should be within 35–40 mA. After drying, the electrophoretically constructed block, 4.5 mm of wall thickness, is moved to the milling station, where the external surface of the future customized abutment is formed according to the scan data. The milling process takes about 10 minutes. The same burr will serve for milling of approximately 100 abutments. The pure powder got by milling can be 100% recycled, as it is not mixed with gypsum. Besides, it is the best one for applying with a brush when preparing the dye or the original abutment before processing, as it is as fine as dust and can be powdered very evenly. After the milling is finished, the machine leaves the holder in the zero-axis position. By cleaning, the screw cap formed by electroplating is first removed with a rubber cap. The margins are cleaned all around the abutment with the same rubber cap. By final cleaning, lower the speed of the handpiece. The rests can also be taken away with a brush. The margin is then smoothed with a soft paper wick. Heat well the whole construction and then put off the customized abutment from the standard one. It is now ready for the sintering brand. After sintering, check the fit on the standard abutment. By the fit control on the model, any appropriate material can be used to mark the premature contacts. The last ones, being well visible, are simply taken away with a burr. Refine the external surface of the customized abutment all around the supragun part. Glass infiltration is performed in the same way you did with single copings and bridges, except for a few moments, and namely the thickness of the applied glass has to be much bigger to maintain complete infiltration of thick abutment's walls. Provide horizontal position of the abutment on the platinum foil to prevent the glass excesses from flowing inside the abutment. If they do, after the bake, you lose too much time while removing them by sandblasting. When the framework is already on the foil, apply some more glass. The glass infiltration bake for implant abutments can be performed under the corresponding furnace program for bridges.